You're about to watch real aviation footage that people captured by chance. No scripts, no special effects, just the moment things went wrong. In these clips, a normal flight can turn into a plane crash in seconds, and every decision counts. I'll guide you through what you're seeing, explain the key mistakes or failures, and keep it clear and respectful. If you want real lessons from real incidents, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. On May 15, 2018, a Grumman American AA-1B crashed during a forced landing at Butler County Regional Airport, Hoganfield, near Hamilton, Ohio, after a total loss of engine power shortly after takeoff. The pilot, who was the only person on board, survived with serious injuries, and the NTSB listed the probable cause as a loss of engine power for a reason that could not be determined. On August 17, 2021, the Ilyushin Il-112V prototype crashed in a forest near Kubinka airfield in the Moscow region, Russia, during a test flight while returning to land. All 3 crew members were killed. Preliminary reports said a fire broke out in the right engine and the aircraft subsequently lost control and went down.
Я не знаю. Да. Все.
Ой, упал. Мама дорогая.
Ё-моё.
Ой, вообще ужас какой. Боже мой.
Пипец.
1230 RSA, the approach end of runway 30 for departing traffic, runway 12 at midfield.
On July 24, 2021, a SIAI Marchetti SM.1019B crashed shortly after takeoff from Lewiston near Spurs County Regional Airport in Lewiston, Idaho. The pilot was fatally injured. The NTSB determined the probable cause was the pilot's failure to remove the flight control lock before departure, leading to a loss of control and impact with terrain.
Level 4, proceed on Charlie. 4, use caution. There are people running up to that aircraft, so make sure you don't run over anybody. Level 4, roger. Any vehicles on ground frequency that are going to that accident, you are free to proceed onto the movement areas at any point. Level 6, proceed Charlie 4. Level 6, you kind of broke up there at the end. You're requesting Charlie 4, then where you want to go. Level 4 is at the runway 86 at Alpha 2. Let's proceed Alpha Foxtrot onto runway 1230. Level 4, proceed Alpha Foxtrot onto runway 1230. Level 4, proceed Foxtrot onto runway 1230.
Lewiston off, go ahead.
Yeah, Lewiston off, just to kind of
On February 10, 2025, a Twin Commander 690D had an emergency landing at Sorocaba Airport in Sorocaba, São Paulo, Brazil. The main landing gear extended but did not lock, then collapsed during touchdown, and the aircraft settled onto its belly and slid to a stop. All 4 people on board were reported uninjured. On January the 26th, 2025, a Cessna 180 was hit by a strong gust on short final to the Alton Bay ice runway in Alton Bay, New Hampshire. The gust dropped a wing just before touchdown. The wingtip struck the ice, and the pilot immediately went around and landed safely on the next attempt. No injuries were reported. On August the 13th, 2022, a Mooney M20K crashed near Hanna City, Illinois, after the engine lost all power about 10 miles from its destination at Peoria International Airport. The pilot attempted an emergency landing on a roadway, struck power lines and other obstacles, and both the pilot and passengers were killed. The NTSB determined the probable cause was a total loss of engine power due to fuel exhaustion. On April 2, 2022, a Cessna 177RG was damaged during a landing accident at Davis Airport in the Gettysburg area of Maryland. The airplane develops a high syncraton final, struck a fence short of the runway, and the pilot suffered minor injuries. The NTSB determined the cause was the pilot's failure to maintain adequate airspeed while maneuvering on final approach. On July 8, 2023, a Beech P35 Bonanza crashed into the ocean off Shelter Cove Airport in Shelter Cove, California, during an approach in the traffic pattern. The engine began losing power, the pilot could not maintain altitude, and the airplane ditched and sank. Both the pilot and passenger swam to shore with serious injuries. The NTSB listed the probable cause as a partial loss of engine power for reasons that could not be determined because the aircraft was not located and recovered. On April 24, 2025, an MBB-BK 117B2 air medical helicopter crashed in Hartford, Illinois, during a night departure from a confined landing zone near the local fire department after a training event. During the initial climb, it drifted rearward, the tail rotor struck a tree, the helicopter lost directional control and impacted terrain, and all three occupants survived with serious injuries.
Yeah, they are getting practice in. Holy shit.
On July 3, 2015, an Airbus helicopter's AS350 B3e crashed into a parking lot seconds after lifting off from the Summit Medical Center heliport in Frisco, Colorado. The pilot was killed and two medical crew members were seriously injured. The NTSB found the crash was triggered by a pre-flight hydraulic check that depleted tail rotor hydraulic pressure, combined with the lack of a clear cockpit alert that pressure had not been restored before takeoff, leading to high pedal forces and a loss of control. On July 10, 2023, a student pilot in a Cessna 172N was substantially damaged at Long Beach Airport in Long Beach, California, after losing directional control during landing and then striking the roof of a hangar during the go-round. The pilot suffered minor injuries, and the NTSB cited the cause as the student pilot's failure to maintain directional control during the landing and subsequent go-around.
Okay, so this is
On July 5, 2015, a Just Aircraft Super Stall was damaged during a short landing demonstration at the Hunter Valley Air Show at Maitland Airport in New South Wales, Australia. The aircraft got too slow on final, the right wing dropped in an aerodynamic stall, and it hit the runway hard before coming to a stop. The pilot walked away uninjured.
they look both the same, except, oh my god.
Oh!
Fuck!
Oops, folks, something's gone wrong. Folks, unfortunately something's happened that we didn't expect. So we've got our emergency teams responding. So if you can please stay off your mobile phones. The emergency services personnel are depending on their mobile devices. We need to make sure that mobile frequencies are not overtaxed.
On June 3, 2023, a Piper PA-31 325 crashed near Tupelo Regional Airport in Tupelo, Mississippi, moments after takeoff on an IFR departure. Both people on board were killed. The NTSB said the airplane stalled after the pilot exceeded the critical angle of attack while maneuvering after takeoff, and the reason for the steep turn at low altitude could not be determined. On May 1, 2023, a Beech A36 Bonanza crashed short of runway 26 during final approach to Big Bear City Airport near Big Bear, California. NTSB analysis of ADS-B and wind data indicates the airplane stalled on short final while the pilot was turning to realign with the runway after overshooting the extended centerline, with tailwind and high elevation conditions contributing to the airspeed decay. All 3 people on board were killed. On January 22, 2023, a Beech M35 Bonanza lost all engine power during an aerial survey flight near Tomball, Texas, and the pilot made a forced landing on State Highway 99, clipping a semi-trailer and striking the concrete median before a post-accident fire. The pilot and the truck driver were not injured, and the NTSB determined the probable cause was a loss of engine power during cruise for undetermined reasons. On September 17, 2025, a Piper PA-28R-201T made a gear-up landing at Smyrna Airport in Smyrna, Tennessee. The airplane touched down with the landing gear retracted and slid to a stop, sustaining substantial damage, and the 2 people on board were not injured. The NTSB determined the probable cause was the pilot's failure to extend the landing gear before landing. On July 9, 2025, a Robinson R44 II was substantially damaged near Inlet, New York, when it settled into the water during an attempted landing at a private residence. The NTSB determined the probable cause was the pilot's failure to maintain control during the landing after rotor RPM decayed when his grip on the collective prevented the governor from automatically increased throttle. The pilot and 2 passengers were not injured. On December 11, 2024, a Grumman American AA-5 suffered a total electric failure about 5 minutes after departing Scales International Airport in Galveston, Texas, and diverted to Pearland Regional Airport in Pearland, Texas. Unable to communicate on the traffic frequency or extend the flaps, the pilot followed another aircraft on final and during the landing roll failed to maintain separation and collided with it as it exited the runway. The NTSB listed the probable cause as the AA-5 pilot's failure to maintain separation, with the electrical failure and the pilot's poor judgment to rush the landing as contributing factors. No injuries were reported.